Lee Rogers, a retired Cavite Navy yard worker, and John C. Todd, 63, a miner, are sitting outside Santo Tomas internment camp in the Philippines after it was liberated. Both had been held captive for 4 years by the Japanese Army in 1945. 1893. Mohandas Gandhi, attorney at law. Some planes used to have wicker seats, and check out the first example of an in-flight film. Alright, let's get this show on the road. It's the 1960s, and here's a radio DJ. He's got a cool style, wearing a suit and tie. He's sitting in front of a microphone, probably getting ready to announce the next big hit. There's a turntable to his side, ready to spin some vinyl. He looks like he knows all the latest tunes. January 1941. High-class trailer camp at Sarasota, Florida. Sweeping up in front of a trailer home. The funeral of Argentinian activist, politician, and First Lady Eva Perón in 1952. Over 3 million people attended her funeral. There was a California Marijuana Initiative rally in 1972. It was 1937, the first day that cars were allowed on the Golden Gate Bridge. Soviet troops are giving a message to German residents about Germany's surrender. It's May of 1945. One of 2 drivers trapped in the cab of a tractor trailer is pulled to safety by a rope on the Pitt River Bridge across Shasta Lake, Redding, California, on May 3, 1953. The casserole vendor is on Perolier Street, which was then known as Chaudron Street in Toulouse, France. Georges Chevalier took the photograph on April 18, 1916. Joaquin Phoenix in 1996. Bing Crosby, a stage, screen, and radio star, sings to Allied troops at the opening of the London Stage Door Canteen in Piccadilly, London, England, in 1944. A woman is performing the can-can in the 1950s. Salvo the Paradog is completing a parachute jump during training. Actress Brigitte Helm is having a break in costume on the set of the 1927 Fritz Lang film, Metropolis. She plays Maria, also known as the Machine Man, in the film. Correspondents interview Tokyo Rose. Eva Toguri, American-born Japanese, 1945. Jewish prisoners were forced to work for a Sonderkommando 1005 unit. They're posing next to a bone-crushing machine in the Janowska concentration camp. Main Street in Los Angeles in 1956. '43 Squadron is ready to fly the British Sopwith Snipe single-seat fighter over the German front lines in October of 1918. The soldiers fed the polar bears with condensed milk tins. This happened in the Soviet Union in 1950. Former nuclear technician Mordecai Vanunu exposed Israel's nuclear weapons program to the British press in 1986. Hells Angels, California, 1965. Kids are playing hide-and-seek next to a car on a New York street in the early 20th century. Kids were playing on the Lower East Side, New York in 1963. Children are watching as their neighborhood is bombed in Minsk, Belarus. The bombing was part of Operation Barbarossa. This happened in June 1941. All right, let's see what McDonald's had on the menu in 1973. They had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, the Big Mac, and the Quarter Pounder. For sides, you could get French fries and apple pie. They also had milkshakes in chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, along with soft drinks. Hiroshima, 1945. Roger Vadim and Jane Fonda on the set of Barbarella by David Hearn in 1968. An American soldier leans over the side of an army truck. He's kissing a French woman on a bicycle. This is during the liberation of Paris on August 25, 1944. Construction at Disney World. The sign reads, Walt Disney World in large letters. There's a lot of machinery on site, like bulldozers. The sky is clear with some clouds. 16-year-old Ronald Reagan in 1927, at his job as a lifeguard in Dixon, Illinois. Reagan worked as a lifeguard for 7 summers, starting in 1925, and saved 77 lives. Santa's delivering presents to the children of an adoption home in London in 1931. Professional rat catchers during the bubonic plague, Sydney, 1900. (1930), Queen of the Vineyards, Wilma Smith, buried head to toe in a bunch of grapes. It's an autochrome shot of 3 Greek women. They're in their traditional clothes, sometime in the 1910s. "30 feet of water rushes toward Beardstown, Illinois, after the levee fails, sweeping away the railway, which happened on April 16, 1922. An autochrome shot of 2 Algerian ladies wearing their traditional clothes, taken on the 1st of January 1910. Crown Prince Wilhelm of Germany is striking a pose while inspecting the troops, around 1915. You never think about Hitler just being some guy, you know? David Lynch, 1964. An early 20th century Canadian immigration bus advertisement. The bus is ready to take you. It's a safe and comfortable ride. There are seats for passengers. This bus offers service to Canada. Come to Canada. J.W. Waldron Smith and Bicycle Works is in Brighton, England. This was around the year 1900. The Easter Bunny is bringing joy to children. It's 1955. The Men's Department of St. Luke's Hospital, New York, 1917. Three young boys are sitting in a wagon on a Pittsburgh neighborhood street, sometime between 1920 and 1930. There were no women. Some Dutch soldiers were drawing a Kilroy meme on another soldier's raincoat in Indonesia in 1948. It was a plane crash during World War II. The incident took place aboard an aircraft. Saddam Hussein, 1963. Washington, D.C., 1925, the Better Old Club Orchestra at the National Zoo. Carolyn Jones, Morticia Adams wishes you a ghoulishly good weekend. There's a hippie mother with a baby. This is in London, 1967. The Titanic setting sail from Southampton in 1912. There was an opium den in Singapore, controlled by the British in 1941. A French woman welcomes an American soldier. This happened 2 days after liberation. It was in Strasbourg, France, on November 22, 1944. Playboy models are wearing some of the first miniskirts in the 1970s. There are black children looking at a segregated playground in Alabama, 1956. Aircraft pressurization hadn't yet become mainstream during the time of Winston Churchill, so the Institute of Aviation Medicine built him his very own pressurized pod for safer flying at high altitudes. A meeting of the Allies took place on the Elbe in 1945. Carving the eye of Thomas Jefferson on Mount Rushmore, 1936. There's a small cart for small passengers. Edmontosaurus annectens, discovered in 1908. Professor Neil Armstrong teaches an aerospace engineering class at the University of Cincinnati in 1974. It's a French restaurant, 1907. Men are running away from a balloon that's exploding at Post Field, Fort Sill, Oklahoma on April 2, 1918. I Want a Little Puppy. It's 1950 in Canada. The crew of the Japanese carrier Zukaku gives one final banzai cheer before the ship sinks, 1944. Erwin Rommel, a German field marshal, was involved in the assassination attempt on Hitler in 1944. He was forced to take cyanide. Lucille Mulhall on a ranch in Oklahoma, 1909. This legendary woman broke all the stereotypes. Lucille, the rodeo queen, got her start in her father's show and later created her own. Toward the end of the war, boys as young as 14 were pressed into service by the Germans. These lads are carrying Panzerfaust anti-tank weapons, Laubang, Silesia, March 1945. Coffin beds at a Salvation Army shelter in London. Operated by the Salvation Army, they are one of the first homeless shelters created for the people of central London, also known as Fourpenny Coffin, around 1900. Franz Reichelt in his parachute suit. Trappers and hunters in the Four Peaks country in Browns Basin, Arizona. I don't know the date. Classes at the Emile Jacques Dalcroze Institute of Music and Rhythm in Hellerau, Germany, 1912. Curling in Central Park, New York City, 1906. July 11th, 1911. On the beach near the casino in Asbury Park. Anyone up for a nice cold lemonade? Civil rights activist James Meredith grimaces in pain as he pulls himself across Highway 51 after being shot in Hernando, Mississippi, June 6, 1966. Trapeze artist Miss Mara is hitting an arm workout in 1958. March 1941. The Good Humor Man comes to the trailer camp on Saturday afternoon. These children are sons of torpedo plant workers in Alexandria, Virginia. The Chicago race riots of 1919 were a really bad time. The United States Ordnance is demonstrating the Sturmgewehr rifle with the Krumlauf attachment in 1945. October 1908. Trapper Boy, Turkey Knob Mine, McDonald, West Virginia. The boy had to stoop because the roof was low. The photo was taken more than a mile inside the mine. It's 1949 somewhere in Europe, and it's a summer shower. A Royal Navy stoker with 21 years of service nicknamed Popeye was photographed on board the HMS Rodney in September 1940. The Los Angeles Public Library's bookmobile program for the sick in 1928. Washington, D.C., around 1940. Gwendolyn Kafritz was the Hungarian-born wife of real estate developer Morris Kafritz. New York City subway station, 1943. A lady, someone we don't know, is pulling a face for the camera. A young girl has a doll clutched in one hand while her father wraps his arm around her and her brother. This is in Port St. Lucie, Florida. The date isn't specified. Emperor Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra Feodorovna, dressed in costumes as a medieval czar and princess. The year was 1903. Alright, so, here's a description about Barack Obama with his junior varsity basketball team. It says that in 1976, at the age of 15, Barack Obama played for the junior varsity basketball team at Punahou School. The team's coach was a man named Chris McLaughlin. The team's record for the season was 4 wins and 15 losses. U.S. President John Kennedy and his wife Jacqueline on their wedding day, September 12, 1953. A baby's learning to walk using a wicker frame. This was during the 1910s. In 1977, David Berkowitz sent taunting letters signed Son of Sam while shooting strangers across New York City. When publishers lined up to buy his story, New York passed the Son of Sam law to stop criminals from profiting off their crimes. Jim Morrison and Pamela Corson, Los Angeles, 1969. Alright, here's the deal with this portable TV concept from 1967. It's a television that's meant to be easily carried around. Harriet Beecher Stowe, circa 1852. Jean Moore kneels and kisses her fiancé, wheelchair-bound World War II veteran Ralph Neppel, in 1945. An Iranian woman lived during the era before the Islamic Revolution in 1960. This is how Marlene Dietrich showed up in Paris in 1933 after being told not to wear pants upon arrival. Kobe's Miracle Mosque, standing after United States bombing raids in 1945. It's the oldest mosque in Japan, and it's withstood World War II and the Great Hanshin earthquake of 1995. Soviet collector Guram Kakidze at the Joseph Stalin Museum he ran in Georgia, 1988. August 23, 1928. A demonstration of fancy shooting by girl archers from Camp Greystone. Celebrating Mardi Gras in New Orleans, 1905. Street musicians with Gekken lutes. This is from Japan, the Meiji period, around 1900.